Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Tina from Quantum Healing with Tina and Karen. I'm a Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner, spirit releasement therapist, intuitive empath, and remote spirit release practitioner. And today we're here with Karen.
Hey, everybody. Just here in San Francisco. I'm an intuitive starseed energetic healer, BQH practitioner, channel medium, and remote spirit release practitioner. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome. Yeah, so today is November 13th, 2020, Friday. So Friday the 13th. It's a very big day for Black magic, and the energies are super intense since the election. Really, it's been what? It's been 10 days now since the election in America.
Has it already been that long?
Can you believe it?
I lost track of days when I stopped feeling my shoulders.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we've been feeling, because I think a lot of other people out there probably are feeling the same way. And, you know, for me, especially really since the election, the energy's like ramped up to the election. And then on that day, I woke up like having birthing pains, like in my sacral chakra. I wrote about it. And what my guides told me that morning was that we are birthing a new earth today. Meaning that, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the election.
Yes.
And, you know, this election is probably the most important election ever in our history, because really the choices, they're not between Republican and Democrat. It's like satanic, deep state, negative timeline, or, you know, like white hat timeline towards the light, freedom, truth. And that's pretty much the decision we were tasked with making. And when I woke up that morning, I felt it, like we had done it. Like we had made the right decision as a collective. However, I also knew that a winner was not going to be announced that night. There was they had already been talking about it for months, that the left was pulling out all the stops to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. And they were planting that in the consciousness of the collective. So I wasn't surprised at all when they shut down the polls and stopped counting and all of that kind of stuff. But I still had, like, my guides were telling me, like, we won this. It doesn't matter what it looks like in the outer reality. The light has won this. And they're just so desperate that they're just going to keep up with the charade.
Storyline.
Yeah. And that's what they continue to do now. I mean, you know, the media doesn't get to declare the president. It doesn't work like that. And the fact that they've done that, even Fox News is on board with that, and all of it. So it's really a sham. And I've heard a lot of different things going on. You know, there's the rumor that there is a quantum voting system, and that all of the votes, the legitimate votes, are being tracked with nanotechnology type things.
Okay.
So they know, like Trump knows, and the team knows that where every single ballot is, you know, if it was dumped into a lake or like whatever. They know exactly how many ballots there are and where they are, because of this technology that is within the actual ballot itself.
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
And here we are, can't even figure out how to put a microphone and ear together. That's something else. Don't ignore that. That's just between me and Tina.
Yeah. So, you know, and then there's this, you know, Trump, I really don't feel is going to concede. I feel like this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and then
What does that mean? Concede, like pass it over?
yeah, just say like, okay, here you go, like step down as the president and hand it over to Biden. I don't see that happening, especially because like all of these states are contested, like 6 states. So I don't see that happening at all. And he has all of his lawyers and teams working on the voting system. And I've seen personally, no matter what you believe, who you voted for, whatever, I've personally seen so much evidence of fraud. It's like insane. I never even realized how much voter fraud there was. Like I've heard about it, but I've never seen it with my eyes. I think they are just making it so obvious to people now that you can't deny that it's happening. And when you don't have trust in the system, then who's ever going to vote again? You know? So they're causing this like mistrust in the system, and also illuminating the dark parts of it at the same time, saying like, look, like here it is, this is actually happening, this has been happening for a long time now.
What kind of stuff has been happening?
Oh, I've seen the craziest things. The mailmen are involved, like they
hire these specific mailmen?
no, they get orders from the top down. Like if you it was on Project Veritas, which is like an investigative, undercover investigative journalist kind of thing. And they went out and they were talking to these mailmen, and the mailman said, we've been given orders, because they're supposed to stop collecting and sending in ballots after the 3rd. And they were given orders to collect all the ballots after the 3rd and send them in anyway to be counted. Yeah. And 3 different mailmen contacted Project Veritas to tell them that's almost the same story. And they were getting their orders from the higher ups. So that was one way. The other was, you know, when they're counting the votes in the room, they're supposed to have, I don't know what they're, observers watching what they're doing, you know, just like observing the process. Well, because of COVID, they made them stay like all the way across the room so they couldn't see anything. And they kicked out the GOP observers. They wouldn't even let them in the room because they said it was too crowded or whatever.
Come on.
Yeah. So that, I've also seen.
How do they count? How do you know if you're legitly counting? Is it because they have let's say one Republican and one Democrat? Like that way it's fair? Like it's just like, well, you know?
Well, what I saw was, I actually saw, so the people were down in the room counting, and up above them there was glass so people could look down, and there was somebody up there videoing and watching them fill out ballots, you know, not even counting, just filling out ballots for Biden, checking them all off and putting them through, checking them off, putting them through. I mean, it's crazy. Another one was, they were, you know, they're only supposed to be filled out with blue or black pen, and they were handing people Sharpies, taking their pens, handing them Sharpies so that when they put it through the machine, it just didn't count at all if they were voting for Trump. So much fraud. Plus, I've seen clips of, like, as it was playing on the mainstream, like say CNN or whatever channel it was, you could see as the counter was coming around, you know, flipping through the states, say like Trump had 690 and Biden had 250. When it came around the next time, Trump was down by 20 grand, and Biden was up by 20 grand. So it's flipping the votes. And the system, the voting system is rigged to do that.
Yeah, I heard that the same system that was doing that for Biden's votes was what happened here in Canada with Trudeau's. So they probably tested it out here because no one gives a shit about our elections, so that they could do it for the big election.
They've been using it here forever. I was listening to a woman who like ran for her local, government or whatever, and she was talking all about this. It's called the Hammer and something. It's an actual like program that's wired into these systems.
So to be fair, like how did Trump win last election?
I don't know. I don't think they expected at all for the turnout. They didn't expect it. They were caught by surprise because up until then they were in power. They didn't worry about it. Basically presidents are selected and not elected. So they really didn't, put in the effort, I guess, for the fraud. But even back then, Trump was talking about it. I mean, he was tweeting about voter fraud in like 2012 or something like that. So this isn't something new. We're just seeing it now, right? It's just being illuminated, just like everything in 2020. None of this is new. We're just seeing it more clearly, right? With 2020 vision. And yeah, so I mean, so much. I can't even recall like all the fraud I've seen personally just through like the independent media and stuff like that.
A lot. That's crazy. Different ways like that.
So many different ways. Oh, this one video I saw, this woman was being paid like thousands of dollars to recruit people for the Democrats. And she was being videoed standing at this old lady's house. And this old lady was handing over her ballot.
Yeah.
And she had voted, I guess, Republican on one thing because the woman is supposed to coach these people on who to vote for and all of this stuff. This is what she's paid to do. So she had coached this woman, vote Democrat down the line. That's what you have to do, period. So the older woman picked Republican for one of the things. And the lady was like, oh, wait, you weren't supposed to do that. Here, let me cross it out. And you put your initials here and we'll change it to Democrat because you said you wanted to vote Democratic straight down the line, right? And the lady was like, wait, can't I keep that one? And she's like, oh, no, you don't want to keep that one. So she crossed it out, made her initial it, and picked the other one and took the ballot. Oh. It's crazy.
Didn't you say, too, that people who have voted in PA weren't even registered?
Right.
To vote, and they were able to vote?
Yeah, no people that I know. People that I know weren't registered to vote and they were able to vote. Dead people all over the country are voting. Yeah. It's very corrupt.
What the fuck? It's crazy.
I know. And it's funny that we haven't even talked about any of this, but yeah, it is crazy. It really is crazy.
Oh, I just got getting high vibration buzzing in my ear.
So we're talking about the energy of this, really, and the energy after the election. The energy was pretty. No, not after the election. After they called Biden for president-elect, the energy was calm again. Remember, like that one day, it like felt really calm because it felt like everyone had kind of like
on their shit,
calmed and like took a deep breath. Mm-hmm. And I think, the people that voted for Trump were just kind of in shock and stunned. So the energy kind of leveled out that day, and then it started to pick up again. And I'm really sensitive. We are really sensitive to the collective energies.
I was like, so I look like this.
Stop, you look fine. And so the last couple days leading up to today, Friday the 13th, have been really intense for me. I've been feeling very ungrounded irritable, unable to focus, like really losing my words, like not able to grasp a thought, a word.
Me too. It's really bad.
Pain, a lot of pain, and just feeling kind of out of it. And it's really unusual for me to feel like that. And I'm like, what is going on? And this morning I woke up and my guides were telling me, you're being attacked by directed energy weapons. You and Karen are being attacked by directed energy weapons. And that's exactly what it felt like. And I woke up with like bruises all over my legs. Really strange. And then, and I guess it would be like being exposed to like some kind of technology, like 5G, right? And that's kind of like how you feel when you're exposed to that kind of technology, which you've been experiencing all week at work, right?
Yeah. They planted like a new system, like internet system in our department. But I asked and they said it wasn't 5G, but there's still a new system where it's running through the whole department. It's not just in specific places. So I was kind of like, well, we're still getting blasted by like these frequencies anyway to give stronger connection. So, that already doesn't sound good. Anyway, so I've been feeling the same. Like we always say that we're always opposite. I feel great and then she feels like shit and then, or the opposite, the other way. But no, this week we felt exactly the same. Probably asked for it. But we've been lucky enough though that we've been able to work. Like continue the work that we're doing.
But we've also had a little bit of a lull, which has been good because like we're just trying to take care of ourselves,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a really amazing RSR live today, which we're offering now, RSR lives, which are really kind of fun because, well, fun, but they're fun for us. But
we love seeing your entities.
We love seeing your entities. We love removing your entities.
Yes.
Yeah, so now instead of just getting a recording, you can schedule to be there with us when we do the RSR live and you can experience that energy in real time. We also added a little extra where you can ask your higher self 5 questions, and we're running a special on that now for, what is it, $199 for an RSR plus 5 questions for your higher self. So, yeah. So yeah, we're offering RSR lives now, or RSR live plus 5 questions that you get to ask Karen while she's connected to your higher self. So that is fun, right?
Yes. Do you guys remember the bubble sessions that we did? So it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Except we get to clear your entities.
Yeah, so it's like a bubble session and an RSR for $199. That's a really good deal.
Yeah.
Really.
That's a really good deal. We don't know our worth yet. I'm just kidding. We're just trying to promote it to see if anyone would be interested.
Yeah. And we did a live today, not plus 5 higher self questions, but it was a really amazing reading and clearing that we did for a beautiful couple, female couple, and they were having a lot of energy in the home, a lot going on in the home, and leftover energies from a couple like relatives that had died and not fully passed on. So the most beautiful part for me was actually retrieving those lost parts of their soul that the DFEs were holding on to, and having them stepping forward to complete that, complete their soul 100%, because they weren't. So that was really beautiful. And also getting to clear the trauma from those souls.
Yes.
Yeah. So back to the election.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is going to happen is that it's either going to go to Congress and then each state gets one vote, or something else like dramatic is going to happen altogether. But it's like, you know, the choice, it's really a choice between timelines, right? I mean, because Biden's already talking about rolling in, you know, mandatory masking, the vaccine being mandatory, shutdowns, lockdowns, which we're starting to see now is happening. So, yeah, it's really a choice between like the deep state, new world order takeover or the light, which, you know, I'm not 100% confident in that side either, but I think it will at least slow down the process, you know?
Yeah.
So I had a dream that I want to tell you guys about. You know, a lot of people in the light worker community have talked about Trump being a light worker. They've had dreams, they've had visions, you know, gotten this information in channeling. I have even gotten it from Jesus when in my conversations with Jesus, but I still had a lot of doubt about it. Like, is this man who they say he is? A lot of people have said that he is the incarnation of the walk-in of Saint Germain. And I'm like, could that really be possible? Like, I still really had a lot of doubt about it. And I'm like, why don't I have dreams about Trump? Like, you know, like I want to know who these people are, like on an energetic level, like what their intentions really are. And they were like, well, you never asked. So I started asking, like, God, please, please show me, like, I want to know who this man really is. Is he a light worker? Is he who they say he is? You know, and I don't believe in any one person as a savior, the way people worship him and look at him as if he's a savior. I don't look at anyone like that, because it's the stuff that's going on now on earth is our collective crap. It's our collective trauma. Like, each one of us has contributed to this in some way, you know? So it's going to take each and every one of us to clean this up from the inside out, and also to create what we want, more than pushing back against the system that's in place. That's just like wasted energy, but to create and live the lives that we do want. But anyway, a lot of people look at Trump like he's going to, you know, save us from the New World Order and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if that's true. Part of me like wanted to believe that. So let me tell you about my dream. So I had this dream, and it opened up like the scene. It felt more like a timeline jump or something, or like an astral travel.
Oh, we should do a video on that.
Yeah, well, we should do that. Quantum jumping. So the scene opened up, and I was both the observer and integrated into the body. So I was married to Trump, and I saw us, like, I saw from two different perspectives, and I saw us walking like arm in arm into an event. Like, he had on his normal like navy blue suit with his red tie, and I had on this beautiful white suit with like a pencil skirt and heels. And I don't know, we were walking into some kind of event, and I don't know if it was our wedding or just a different event. I'm not positive on that, but we were definitely married. So I'm married to Trump in this dream, and we're walking to this event, and he takes me to, like, walks me to the table, and then he leaves to go mingle or make the rounds with his associates, like men do, right? So he leaves me at the table like by myself, and I'm sitting there, And I'm starting to get really anxious. Like being in this room with strangers, I don't know anyone, and I'm just like sitting there, but I'm also like observing
It sounds
myself.
just like you, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So right when like my anxiety is at its peak, he comes back. And he sits down next to me and he faces me and he puts his hands on my shoulders. And his energy is instantly calming and peaceful. And it was like as if he knew what I was experiencing before I even had to say anything. And then he puts his forehead to mine, like forehead to third eye to third eye. And he's putting his forehead to mine. And it's like he's transferring his calm and peaceful and loving energy to me. And I remember feeling like, this guy is a master. And then I woke up.
Let's hope that's real.
Right. And I was talking to a friend, and I was talking to a friend later, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that like third eye to third eye thing. That's what tribal cultures do to say hello, to send love and peace and comfort, support to each other, and transferring that mentally through the third eye." So I thought that was really interesting, and that had come up again, like synchronistically. So that was like the end of the dream, and I'm like trying to interpret it. And the first thing that came to me was I felt like he is a light worker, but he's also split between worlds, like most of us are, right? Like trying to live with a 5D consciousness in a 3D world and split between the two. So I wasn't completely 100% comforted by that dream at all, because I felt like, he's playing the game.
Right.
Right. And even though maybe his true authentic self and his true heart is loving and peaceful.
Aren't we all?
Right. Right. At the root, we all are. But yeah, so I felt like he was kind of straddling the fence, right? And playing both sides. And yeah.
I would think in that position you would have to.
Right.
If
he really was, okay. So there are secret societies that run this world, right? We all know that. Some of those secret societies are really dark forces, satanic secret societies, right? At the very, very top. But counter to that, there are also secret societies that are light, that work for the light, that use white magic, right?
That's us. Our little secret society of two.
Yeah. So if he really was recruited by the white hats, the side of the light, then that would make sense. And it seems like that is what's happening. But, no one really knows for sure. And where I'm at right now is I will support him until he gives me a reason not to. Because he does at least stand for sovereignty, truth, and freedom. And right now in our world, that's what we need more than anything, is sovereignty, truth, and freedom. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, like between the two candidates, so far, at least I know that so far, well, that hasn't been proven, that he doesn't like little children. So, I mean, that's already a good thing.
Right.
So far, I mean.
Right. They can't, they've been trying for 4 years to dig up dirt on him and they can't find any. Or otherwise, I mean, they've been making stuff up like this whole Russia thing and all of that. And that was the other kind of part of what I felt in my dream. Like they're just really trying so hard to come up with something to delegitimize him.
They've been trying, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's been bringing peace instead. I mean, he came back like from all those countries with peace instead. I mean, he made friends with the freaking, what is he, from North Korea?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, and they hated it. They hated it because they want division.
Right.
They don't want peace. They want war because war makes them money.
Right, and they played on it like, oh, look, he's making friends with a, what do you call it? What is he, a dictator? So that makes him a dictator. When it's like, no, he's making peace with him so that he doesn't fucking blow up your country.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's been, really intense energies and leading up to today.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't feel 100%. I feel better now because we cleared ourselves before we did our RSR tonight.
We're lucky to have that luxury.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the entities are out in like full force, like feeding off everyone's energies. And they're being conjured. Like today is a huge day for black magic. And that's why we're here, like making this video, trying to counteract that with our light. Just being who we are is enough to counteract that. Because they don't want us working. Like we have so many problems, like even with our technology and stuff when we try to work, because they don't want us to work, and they will do anything to prevent that. So
you gotta try a little harder.
Right, and even like our YouTube channel is getting censored. The session we posted with Joey, that's being censored. Like how crazy is that? They're censoring spiritual information. I mean, that tells you that we're in a spiritual war right there. That it's really not about politics or the words that we say at all. It's
right, and we're just like a little mom and pop shop. I mean, like, what do they want from us?
I know. We have 325 subscribers and they're censoring us. Yeah, that video like took off in the first couple days. And then all of a sudden
rewinded.
Yeah, the views on it rewound from like the last time I saw the true number, it was like over 520 views. And then it dropped down from that. So we don't even know how many people have seen it or not. Stupid. And I just felt all along that they've been censoring our channel. I couldn't prove it until that actually happened and we saw it with our own eyes.
Yeah, that was so obvious.
Yeah. But there's other forms of suppression, like shadow banning, just the videos like not getting the reach that they should and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, if you're here, please like and subscribe. Get a Gmail account and subscribe to the channel and comment.
Yes. Yes.
Or let us know that you're seeing it. That would be nice.
Yeah. We would love to hear from you guys. My take is, my just gut feeling has always been that the light is always, it's going to win. Like there's just something within me that knows that, like deep, deep down. It's going to be a really bumpy ride for a long time because these structures have to fall apart. Like we have to see the flaws within these structures in order to build something new, right? It's like when you're healing your shadow, you have to look at it. You have to see it before you can heal it. And we're healing collective shadow right now. So it's going to be painful for a while as we are seeing what looks like collapse of these old structures and consciousnesses. They're just kind of falling apart before our eyes, and that makes people feel unsafe and unstable because a lot of us are still holding on to our trauma. So instead of, being focused on the outside world and how that's making you feel, we have to start to go inward and heal the trauma that's making us feel unsafe in this unstable world. Because if we're solid within ourselves, it's not going to matter what's happening outside of us. True sovereignty comes from within us. True freedom comes from within us. I mean, look at who was that? Was it Nelson Mandela that was in jail for all those years? And he held that sovereignty and freedom within himself, within his soul, even while he was in prison. And that's how we have to be, even when the world is falling down around us, and realizing that our bodies are constantly working to transmute these dense energies, especially as light warriors. Like, we are always working, even in our sleep. We barely ever get to rest.
Yeah, look at my face. I'm so tired. It's hard. And by the way, I did a lot of trauma healing in October, so you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like November is like my month to heal, because I have a lot of like physical pain coming through.
I think maybe I'm helping you there.
You have your tennis ball on still?
No, I took it out before the video. I have like the old lady tennis ball, put on my back, and then I go on the wall and I roll myself.
Well, you also had a spear in your back that was removed.
Yes. Yes, I did. Jesus removed it. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, and ever since he removed that spear from your back, mine feels better.
Oh, good. What's yours is mine.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now we're in the midst of seeing and healing our collective trauma, our collective shadow, and it's like we have a choice between these timelines now. Like, do we want to take the inorganic timeline, with the AI, like going down that road with the AI and the archons and the nanotechnology and the vaccines and the chips and all of that? Or do we want to have a natural ascension process, an organic ascension process to the light? Like, we've been here so many times before as humanity. Like, we've been here at this very point in time over and over again. And up until now, we've always made the wrong choice. It's like Atlantis all over again. And all the same players are here, whether you're of the light or of the darkness. All the same players are here. And it's like we have to stand up and make a choice this time. Do we really want to ascend? Do we really want this? And it's crazy because you can see the split between like who has played these roles, say just like in the government or our leaders and stuff. Like, you can see more clearly who they are, like deep down in their souls, and the roles they've played before in the past, in our past timelines where we've done this before. Atlantis fell because we took the wrong path. We went way too far with the technology. And, we have that choice now to ascend organically and really make the right choice. Not that any choice is right or wrong, but it's like, what do we want? And we get to choose. So, yeah. It's hard being on Earth.
I know, you're the one who comes all the time. It's hard. But I actually enjoy it now. I mean, apart from the tennis ball stuff and, crying for a whole month straight, like it's pretty good.
You should tell them about that encounter you had with that spirit.
Which one?
Like the one where you were driving in the car. Your old client, patient. And what she said about being human.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was driving home and a song came on. Or a regular song, and I was getting really emotional for whatever reason. And then I was like, just, I don't even want to see what the song is because it's really like not worth it. But to the point where it's just like, why are you getting emotional for this song? And, I started getting memories like flooding in from like when I used to work at the other center, at the other hospital. And, in pops in one of my old patients. She was a teenager at the time, 14, 15 years old. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, why are you in my thoughts? Like, where that come from? But it was because the song played and she liked that song. She would play it when she would have her treatments. So I was like, oh, okay. So I couldn't remember her name and she says her name, like her nickname. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Like I completely forgot because it's been a decade. And I don't even remember what the hell I did that morning, And then I was just like, no, what's your full name? And she says it really loud, like clearly. And it's just like, wow. Like, and that's the clearest that a spirit has ever spoken to me, like with that much detail. And, so I started this conversation with her as I'm driving emotionally down the street. I don't live that far from work, but yeah, we were just like talking. And I asked her if I did anything, if there was anything, like, could I have done more for her as her technologist? Because like after I had treated her, she passed away maybe a couple of months just after that. So I asked her if I did anything enough, and she said, yeah, like you did everything that you were asked of to do, and I was doing everything or that I felt my parents thought was best for me. So I was like, fair enough. And I asked her, I was like, what do you miss about being human? And she said, I really miss the emotions. And I was taken a bit aback by that because, as everyone knows, I'm sure everybody knows this, like we've all experienced that, those scary emotions where we don't want to feel them. We really stuff them down, we ignore them, we do anything but feel it. And here she is as a soul, like after she's passed after 15 years old, to tell me that she misses that. And she's like, there's just something about feeling that in a human body that we take for granted as a soul. Because as a soul, all you feel is back to your core self, you're the true love, which is, you're back to source, you are source, you feel that true love. But she said there's nothing like feeling like those scary, she'll call them scary emotions versus beautiful emotions, like the happy ones in a human body, specifically in a human body that we take for granted. So I really took that with me because it's like, when you're in it, when you're feeling like complete crap and for me, I feel it really deeply in my heart and it goes into my throat and it just explodes there. And you're just like, I don't want to feel that because it's scary. It feels like it's like a tsunami and it's just gonna like tide you over. But then again, when it all passes and you get to see how profound it is to be able to sit in that type of depth and meet yourself there, meet God there, actually. It's actually really, really amazing. So I thank her for that reminder. Why, like how hard it is, and at the same time how beautiful it is to feel that.
I just love that so much. What a beautiful message to come through and share. And now everyone's going to get to benefit from that.
I hope so. I definitely do now, because like I used to like, well, run or be so ashamed of feeling things like that. Like I shouldn't be, especially like after you've gone through some spiritual work and healing, and then you feel something like that and you're like, I'm not supposed to be feeling that. I'm spiritual and I feel that. No, it's just a part of being human, being able to feel the human stuff, and there is so much in that, and we take that for granted. And
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, no matter how spiritual we are, we're never going to stop being human while we're alive in this life. So we're always going to feel all the range of emotions. I mean, I think, even if they're just passing through for a moment, I mean, because there's the David Hawking scale of vibratory frequencies, from all the way from shame to joy and bliss and love. And like, just imagine like passing through all of them, even if you have like guilt that comes up for a brief moment, and it's just passing through, right? And just always remembering that it's not permanent. It's not who you are, like, and I always say to people, you are the sky, and the thoughts and feelings that you have are just the clouds passing through. Like, at your core, you are love. And that's it, you are pure unconditional love. And everything else is just coming as a messenger to show you something. And, part of the major part of the ascension process is allowing those feelings, because they're just consciousness. And allowing those feelings to pass through our bodies, our physical forms, and that's how we transmute them. Because we can't transmute anything we don't see, so it has to show us, it has to come as a messenger to say, hey, you need to look at me, right? And then when you do, and you understand why it has shown itself, then it goes, right? And that's true alchemy. Being able to sit in those scary feelings. And they are scary, they can be. Yeah. And that's why everyone, it's so brave to be here on Earth as a human. Like, everyone that has chosen to be here is amazing, because Earth is really the hardest school there is. And souls line up to come, Like you, for instance, you were so excited to come in.
Yeah, that was like when I had that dream. It was like a Grease movie, or it was a musical. I felt myself. I was just like, get ready to come in. Coming to Earth. Excited. I'm coming. Yeah, your hologram was there, and you're like, oh, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Go meet her. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and part of feeling those things too, being really in touch with our emotional body, is bringing forward that divine feminine energy, right? Because that's what's missing from Earth, which we were just talking about, is reconnecting with that intuition, reconnecting with that emotional body, because that's how we navigate the world, through our feelings. I mean, I think back, because I have the visual from the dream you had where you were completely cut off from your intuition, which means you were completely cut off from your emotions, and how alien that felt and how far in that felt. And that is the direction that humanity is going on this, AI timeline. To where, I mean, because they say the gray aliens are us from the future. Like after we've gone down that path, that's what we turn into. Just completely devoid of an emotional body at all. It's all mental. Can you imagine humans if they're just all mental beings without any feeling or emotion?
Yeah, I work with them.
But it's funny, but it's not far off because a lot of people are going in that direction.
I work with them. They drink a lot of fluoride.
Yeah, and they're cut off from the heart. Like part of the ascension process is reconnecting with the heart again, reconnecting with the emotional body, more so than the intellect and the mind. It's very masculine, but reconnecting again with the emotions, with the intuition, with the right side of the brain, that the imagination, what's going to guide you and bring down these divine feminine energies into the collective, because that is what's going to really come down and help humanity rise when the feminine gets its power back.
Yeah, I suppressed my feminine for so long that I became that gray for a period. That was the only way to survive, because it was so painful to feel life in that,
Well, I think that's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, they're in so much pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in pain. I mean, most people are. If they're not on the path of healing, then most people are in pain in some way, shape, or form. Almost everyone is carrying a trauma. We're carrying our own traumas. We're carrying the collective traumas, our ancestral traumas. Like, this is why we're here right now, to clear this stuff and finally heal it, not just for ourselves, but for the collective of humanity, our ancestry, and all of the karma we've collected along the way. Like we saw in our one client session, like she's healing for all of these aspects of herself that were gathered in this courtyard. She's healing for every single one of them. And every single one of us is doing the same thing, healing for all of our aspects. Yeah. Wow.
Yes. It's really cool here in San Francisco. Do you like Tina's new office? It's cute, right? Her background?
Yeah. Can you see it's an elephant? Can you see his eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So really getting in touch with that divine feminine and becoming empowered as human beings and balanced is so important, finding that balance and between the mind and the heart is so important.
I'm working my way there.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. I'm glad you think so.
Anything else you want to talk about? Any other topics?
No, I think we should leave it as is, and then we can do another video on my quantum jumping and being a time traveler.
Let's pull a card real quick. Wild offering. Oh, what do our friends need to hear? What do our friends need to hear right now? Trust.
Trust the process.
When love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Allow me, dear divine, to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. Oh my God, like how crazy is that?
Great. I like that too. that's for me too.
That's like for the election, right? Resting in the unknown.
It's coming.
Resting in the unknown. All right, let's repeat that. So repeat after me. When love is invited to take over,
When love is invited to take over,
right actions arise
right actions arise
at the right time.
at the right time.
Allow me,
Allow me,
dear divine,
dear divine,
to wait patiently
to wait patiently
until the timing is right.
until the timing is right.
Let me rest in the unknown
Let me rest in the unknown
until a clear path is shown.
until a clear path is shown.
How perfect is that for you? I love it. And it's blue. Look how pretty.
Of course it's blue. Trust.
Trust. All right, one more time. Ready?
Okay.
Power of 3. When love is invited to take over,
When love is invited to take over,
right actions arise
right actions arise
at the right time.
at the right time.
Allow me, dear divine,
Allow me, dear divine,
to wait patiently
to wait patiently
until the timing is right.
until the timing is right.
Let me rest in the unknown
Let me rest in the unknown
until a clear path is shown.
until a clear path is shown.
I love that. It's so pretty too. I love these cards and little messages. This is the Wild Offering Oracle. That was so perfect. Trust. Move that out. All right, I'm going to pull one more card, the Oracle of E. What do our friends need to know? Live in large. Are you frozen? Okay, we're hurrying up. So number 25, live in large. That's a 7. We're getting a lot of 7s. Live in large. You are drifting in an ocean of gold doubloons. What's that? Doubloons.
Oh my God, I always say that word.
Doubloons? What is that?
It's like money or something. Like I would say, like, oh, that's a few doubloons.
I never heard that before.
Oh my God, it's like a funny word that I like to say, like pantaloons.
As always, it's your call. You can dive in, you can backstroke all the way to Istanbul, or you can stay on the pitty little raft you've been rowing.
Here I am in San Francisco.
But it's all there, rich and luxurious as ever, waiting for your nod. Jump in. The good life is yours.
Okay.
Abundance. This is, yeah, we keep getting this abundance message. Leprechaun, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Like this video, please. Subscribe to our channel for more fun stuff. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.